Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth and I am back doing a freestyle type horoscope for it's very flexible on time. I am recording this mid-May, so it could be for mid-May to June, but for those of you who are watching this, it could be also random time. I do want to be flexible, more flexible about the time frame with this series, okay? So a lot of people may be watching this, they may be going back through my videos and they may find these videos after a while. Some of you are going to be watching this in May, and it is applicable for you at this time. It's basically going to be applicable for any time that you're watching this. These messages are a little bit more, I want to say, flexible, and I do kind of use a bunch of different decks. I wanted to do this series because I felt you know, just kind of called it to do it. I can't really explain it. I just kept seeing it in my head and I was like, okay, I want to try this. So, yeah, so that's what this is all about. This video is for everyone with their ascendant, sun, or moon in the lovely Aries. And I'm going to start off with using a deck that I don't normally read from, which is the Enchanted Map by Call It Baron Reed. You know, this is the Enchanted Map Oracle cards. There are other people that use this on YouTube. I haven't taken any creative artistic license with this deck, like unlike my other decks. But I may in the future change it, but I like the messages as is. This isn't to take the place of my general readings that I do with my Shadowscapes deck or my mid-month readings, actually. I really wanted to do like a different series that was more flexible, where I could use my cards in kind of a freestyle type way, where I wasn't just using one specific deck. So my cards are ready to go, and this was my attempt to try to limit the time, how much time I spend on recording. But you know, I've already recorded several videos and they're really long, so it's really just going to depend. Each video will probably just end up being long like usual, but so yeah, so I'm not going to be reading every single card, especially using this deck. It would burn out my voice, and you know, it's not necessary when I use this deck. Excuse me. I am kind of battling a little bit of a cough. It's kind of strange. It's too much talking, I think. So there's actually several cards. This is a very interesting spread. There are several cards that are calling to me, actually. I feel like mid-May, or even whenever you're reading this, you're at a point, you're kind of at this point of no return. You're kind of at, I want to say, a breaking point. You know, you've gotten to a point where you're like, you can't really go any further for how things have been going, and you're gonna need a change. Okay, you got two cards in the center. You got making a choice, which is very obvious. I'm not even going to bother to read it because it's a very obvious choice, you know. I mean, well, it's a very obvious card, I should say. This card, the making a choice card, is annoying because you see it. For me, when I look at this, I'm like, well, what do I choose? Both doors look good, you know, but it's not about one being better than the other, okay? You need to remember that. I really want to tell you that. So if you're stuck between going right or going left, neither one are going to be, it's not going to be about making the best choice, okay? And neither one of them are going to be quote unquote right, okay? So you could go right or you could go left, and you're going to end up in a way where you're supposed to be. You're always on track. When it comes to the universe, you're always on track. You're never off track. The only reason people feel off track is because either financially they're, you know, or emotionally or whatever, relationship wise, that's why they feel that way. But with the universal way, you know, you're never really off track. Okay, so it's a difficult card to articulate. There's a lot of different things that I'm trying to say. And there's certain things that you want to know. So like, I feel like you're watching this and you're like, well, what's the best choice? What should I do? They're gonna be different, okay? In the sense that if you go right, you're going to experience one thing, and if you go left, you're going to experience another. And to me, this is making a decision, and when it comes to the universe, making a decision is part of your learning, part of the lesson. So even if you were to call a psychic and they were to tell you, you need to go right because the left is not the way to go. It's almost as if you're going shopping and you need someone to say, I hate that dress. That dress is ugly. Only for you to really be like, well, you know, I really like that dress. So the problem is in a way, it's like you need someone to bounce your ideas off of. I feel like the month of May specifically is there's a lot of karma going on, okay? And when you learn to make a good decision, it is sometimes a karmic lesson. And I do feel in this case that this is a karmic lesson. Learning to do the right thing, which is different than going down the right path. Okay, doing the right thing is about considering everybody involved, considering the laws of the universe, considering you know, morals and ethics, and deciding for yourself what's best for you in that moment, what's best for you long term, what's best for you ultimately when it comes to each scenario. Okay, so you know, because you have the rock bottom card crossing it, you can't rock bottom. There is no other. You can't get lower than that. When you hit that point, that's the low point. You've hit the low point, okay? So sometime in May, you may be hitting the low point. Or whenever you're watching this, you may be at a low point, okay? And I do feel that the rock bottom card is also very self-explanatory, where you're just at that point in time where you need to do something different. You need to make a decision. I am going to hold up because I feel like my guide is showing me this card in my regular deck. There's two cards that I want to say that are really coming to me here. Just a minute, I'm gonna find it. Okay. Interesting. In the Shadowscapes deck, the card kind of came out reversed. So, so there's a lot to be said here about decisions. Okay, in the upright, the first card that I was you know, kind of linking this to was this card, which is the Ace of Swords. And the Ace of Swords is about moving on. It's about saying, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go, you know, I'm gonna go get a new job, or I'm gonna move to a new location, or I'm going to, you know, become an airline pilot, or I'm going to, you know, fly to the moon and back on Saturday, okay, in my private jet, okay? So that's you know, making the decision. Usually it's about moving on from a relationship, and I apologize, the lighting in here is really, really weird. I don't know what the heck is going on. Hang on just a second. being weird. Very strange. Anyways, it's like a very clear blue sky today. I don't know why the lighting in here is going so wonky at this time, but just bear with me. So ultimately, yes. So this is about moving on from something. This is using your sword of truth and saying, you know what, I'm out of here. You know, I don't like you. I want to break up. I want to, you know, go do whatever. You know, all these things, whatever you're going through, there is a decision that needs to be made. You also have, in my mind, I thought of the Justice card. And the Justice card is about making a good decision. It does also involve usually a Libra, can also indicate Gemini or Aquarius. You may have strong Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius in your chart. You may be in a relationship with a Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. To me, this is about speaking up and saying, you know what, I've had it, I'm done, and that's it. Moving on. The Justice card is about things winding up fair, but it may not seem fair at the time, okay? So when it comes to universe, it's there's an element of balance. I want to say there's something about balance going on here for you. Again, strong Libra vibe, okay? Strong Libra vibe. You may be in a place where things are really out of balance and you need to get back into balance. You may be at a place in your life where you've needed to make a decision for a long time or move on from something for a long time. Some of you, it's moving on from a job. Some of it's moving on from a relationship. Some of it's, you know, moving out of an apartment or a house or whatever it is, as far as making up a decision. And I do want to tell you that it's coming to me too. You may also have some strong Capricorn too. Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Anybody that, you know, Virgos are always waiting for the right time, the perfect moment, the perfect time. Capricorns are waiting for things to line up, okay, in the right time, in the right way. They need to feel secure. Taurus, like, waits and waits and waits for a lifetime, okay, and may never make the change because it's emotionally, Taurus is waiting for that emotional moment, something to hit them so they can feel good about the decision they're making, which usually never comes, because for Taurus to get to that point of feeling really good about a decision, it takes a Taurus a really, really long time to get there. So I feel more strongly this is Virgo or Capricorn in your chart somewhere where, you know, you're waiting for your ducks to line up in a row, and you need to make a decision, or you're waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect situation so that you can make a decision. In the meantime, things have gone to shit, because to hit the rock bottom point, that's when the shit has hit the fan. Okay. There are major highs and there are major lows in this reading. So some of you may struggle with may have struggled with financial highs and lows, you know, big winnings and then big losses. Some of you also may have struggled with, maybe you are struggling with any kind of bipolar issues, blood sugar issues, anything where there's two things going back and forth. And I'm going to pause my video for a second, come back, because the lighting is so weird. There you go. That's what I should look like. The screen was really yellow. Like, I don't know why. It's just turned all yellow for a second. So anyways, so yeah, I was talking about things being kind of out of balance, you waiting for a while, trying to figure out what you're going to do, what's next, what's coming next for you. And I was talking also about highs and lows. Okay. Now, you have with the Golden Palace coming in from the outside, okay? And the Golden Palace, I'm going to read you what it says from the book, okay? It's a very interesting card, and I really like this card because it has a great message. So, hang on just a second. It says, there is always enough. It says the Golden Palace card represents good fortune ambitions fulfilled, wealth, and prosperity. And this is what's coming in from the outside, okay? It says it may also indicate emotional fulfillment, as perhaps you're entering a time of happiness that's long overdue. The message here is that self-worth isn't measured by what you have, no matter how abundant your life is. Instead, it comes from what you are. This is hard for me to read because it's going to make me cry. It says how authentically you're living your life and how much love you're willing to share. Granted, receiving this card does indicate material gain and a furthering of tangible rewards, but things come and go, and knowing your true value leads to even greater riches now. Share the wealth. So to me, this is understanding and learning the lesson of true abundance. And true abundance has, like this card says, has nothing to do with what you have, any materials, what kind of car you drive, where you live, you know, how many diamond rings you have on your finger, nothing like that. It's really, to me, it's how authentic you are and how much love you're willing to share. Those two things, that's, you know, it's always the love stuff that makes me get emotional, but to me, those two things, that's what abundance is, okay? So it is finance, good for finances, you know, middle of May to end of May for you. When you get this card, though, it's learning the lesson. So until you've learned this lesson, a lot of times the universe blocks your finances because you don't understand. It's sort of just like, in a way, you kind of need to get to a place where you're sitting in a chair and you don't care that maybe you don't have all the money in the world, or that you don't drive the nicest car, or maybe your job has gone to shit. You're just sitting in the chair and you feel good about yourself. You feel good about who you are and who you are in the world and what you have to share and what you're doing. And that's what it's really about. When you can sit in that chair and you can say to yourself, gosh, I am so lucky. I'm so lucky. I am so abundant. I have everything I could possibly want. And not be in that place of, oh my God, when are things going to get better? How much more do I have to, what do I have to do to make life better? Why do things keep sucking? All that stuff. You know, when you go into that negativity and be thinking, you know, constantly about what you're going to buy, what you're going to wear, where you're going to go, who you're going to impress, all that stuff is totally not the message here, okay? So it's a beautiful card, and I do like to see it for you because Aries, you know, does have a lot to offer. I feel like Aries doesn't get credit for how much they do share and how much they do give and how much they do love others and how much time and energy they put into other people. So love yourself for all that you do, number one. Know that that is your true abundance, okay? And know that finances will flow in, will be flowing in, even if, you know, for whatever reason, you're in a place where you're kind of stuck. Now, if you are stuck and you're at a place where you can go no further with something, it is time to make a change and a decision so that you can get out of that situation. In order for this abundance to come in, you have to make the change. If you don't make the change, everything's going to stay status quo. I will tell you that. Because it's, in a way, this rock bottom card, it's almost like falling down the Alice's rabbit hole in Alice in Wonderland, okay? Which I don't like. I never liked Alice in Wonderland. Just because of all the drugs and whatever when she gets down there, and it's really creepy and really weird and it's like a dream. And anyways, the whole point here is that, like, in a way, you've fallen down the rabbit hole and you need help out, okay? Aries always needs help. So you need to ask for help. You need to make this decision on your own based on, like I said, understanding what's best for you, how it affects others, and sometimes there is no way to figure out if it's going to be the right decision. In this case, again, it's not making the right decision. It's just making a choice. Sometimes it just comes down to making a choice and just saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to make this choice. It's not going to kill you to make that choice. It won't. What's going to kill you is if you stay at the bottom. To me, this is falling down the hole, okay? You're falling down the hole and you're down there, and you may be living in kind of a dream world. You may be living, you know, where time doesn't exist. You may be living in a kind of a fantasy world or a place in your head where everything's okay, but to me, this is a reality check here. And falling down the rabbit hole means you need to make a decision in order for things to get better. Now, my guide is showing me a time where, and I use this example a lot, I was living in an apartment in Virginia, and I mean, I was sleeping on the floor and I had no furniture, I had nothing, okay? And I needed to make a decision. Eventually, my mom bought me a bed, which was very nice. But I needed to make a decision about what I was going to do. And is that you, Ted?
Yep.
I totally lost my train of thought, but yeah, I was talking about Alice in Wonderland, falling down the rabbit hole and kind of being stuck. Oh, and I was telling you the story about how I had no furniture, and I was at a point where I just, you know, needed something to change. And I ended up moving into a sublet situation where actually that was where I started my videos, and you know, it was for, you know, a fraction of the price of what I was paying in that apartment, that old apartment, and it was exactly what I needed at that time. So some of you may be downsizing, some of you may be needing to make hard choices. Now, you know, I've thought about two different cards. I feel like some of you are going to get a new job too. That's coming up here as well. It's so funny. It's on this. It's right here. Just it's almost kind of creepy how close it was to the top of the deck. This is from my Tarot de Marseille deck. Okay, and this is the Five of Swords. It says having to make hard choices for business. Avoid big decisions if possible. Loss will occur if you're taking risks. This is a card of damage control. This is a messy divorce or legal battle which costs you plenty. It says it also indicates medical expenses or other big bills and expenses. This is also can be collection agencies hounding you. This is beware of love triangles and cheating. This is choosing between one or more potential partners in romance and or getting caught cheating. So, you know, some of you are involved in like an affair, okay? I feel like some of you who are married, this is you cheating on a partner, okay? Some of you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, this is, you know, this could be also your partner cheating as well if you aren't cheating, but it's a love triangle, so you, somebody else, and a third party, okay? You know, when I was thinking about the rock bottom card, I was thinking about, you know, it's about making hard choices, about saying, okay, you know, I really don't want to go live in that sublet, but I've got to do it anyways because I've got to do something different, something has to change. So, you know, you may be at a point where you're not sure what to do next because, you know, you have to make a decision, you have to make a hard choice. Hard choices are about doing something you don't necessarily really want. And this is hard for an Aries. This is really, really hard, okay? Because Aries lives kind of by the seat of their pants. And Aries kind of believes in a way that everything is possible, only to find out that it's not, okay? Or they get by just by like a hair, a fraction. They make it somehow, some way. They believe that if they can they do things kind of in the moment, okay? Which is good, but at the same time, some of their actions are not thought through. So you need to be thinking through what your decisions here are. I feel like you're going to have to make a hard choice, which is doing something you don't necessarily really want to do, okay? And this is dealing with someone who's cheating, or there's a third party involved. You know, this is illegal. Can be also legal because I did pull the Justice card, which is what I was thinking about. Okay, things ending up fair, which don't necessarily mean that it's going to be, you know, and the way it goes, and it's a karmic thing. There's nothing you could do about it. Okay, the way it goes with any kind of legal stuff where this is coming up, this is where, you know, in your mind, 50-50 is fair. In the universal mind, when there's karma involved, you know, 80-20 is fair sometimes. Okay, so I'm just saying, you know, be on the lookout here. And in some cases, we don't get what we want. Again, making the hard choice, not getting what you want, and this is hard. This is hard stuff. And I'm not trying to like be like negative Nancy here, but I am telling you that to me this is hard. making a hard decision, doing something you don't want to do, or dealing with something that's really, really hard, okay? And in a way, you're going to have to let it go. You're going to have to accept that things are not perfect. Things are not the way you would really like them. Ideally, this is not your ideal life. This is not the ideal situation, okay? Some of you, like if my guide is showing me someone who, someone who I talked to recently who, they had no money and they had no place to go but they had a house and they didn't want to sell. So this is just an example. This is where the hard choice comes in. It's something like that, where if you got no money coming in, you got no job, you're going to have to make a choice about what you're going to do. Do you sell your house? Do you sell your car? Do you leave, the country? Some people get into situations too. You might be from a different country and actually living in, I'm not saying you could be in the United States, but you could also be let's just say you're in Australia as an example, and you're from, say, the UK, okay? Or you're from Japan, or you're from China. This is where you may lose your job and not be able to get another one in the country that you're in. You may have to move to a different country. I'm saying that these are all possibilities, and this is what's coming to me. So I do feel like there's a new job, because you did get this card. It was on the bottom there, and I wanted to read it to you. This is the, what is this? 8 of Pentacles. It says, indicates a new job or having an amazing career. This is the apprenticeship, the craftsmanship, the artists, the woodworkers. To me, this is somebody who works with their hands, similar to, in a way, the magician. That's so funny I said that, because I pulled the magician card from the Tarot de Marseille deck, okay? It just clicked in just now. I love it when that happens. It says, so this is working hard and smart. This is climbing the ladder, starting off small, and it's going to lead to results later. Some of you may be starting your own business, or you may be starting off in a position where you don't really anticipate anything happening, and then eventually you climb the ladder and you get somewhere. Okay. So I feel like some of you need to get a new job. Some of you are looking for a new job. And I do feel like you're at a point where you need to do something different that you haven't explored yet. Okay. And the thing about the magician, and I'm going to actually show you this card. So this is the magician in this deck. Okay. And I'm going to read both. And in my other deck, Magician also is reversed in my other deck. Interesting. So the Magician reversed in my other deck is about not being able to get things done, not being able to get what you want. This is going down the wrong path. Again, there's something to do here about making choices, good choices. And for some of you, I feel like your decision-making skills aren't the best, which means you are at a place where the universe is testing you again to see if you're going to make a better choice for yourself. And this is a karmic choice. And some of you, I feel like some of you are going through a legal situation, okay? Maybe this is custody battles, this is court issues, this is paperwork stuff. I mean, could be something, anything from like a civil lawsuit to like a, personal injury type lawsuit also. For a lot of you, it's divorce. To me, for most of you, it's going to be divorce because that's the biggest thing. But it can also just be like just a lot of, bullshit with the court system, okay? And I feel like I want to say when the Magician is in reverse, to me, it's about following the carrot, okay? That's always sort of out of reach. You putting something off because, it could be because you're waiting for a settlement. For some people, this is waiting for something to come in. And because we have the Golden Palace here, this is waiting on some kind of settlement or waiting on some kind of thing, their big ticket the money, you know, the big ticket thing that's gonna roll in, you know, they're in a way waiting for the inheritance, okay, waiting for something to come through, okay, waiting for a big chunk of change, maybe you're selling something, you know, again, you know, or you're selling a divorce, or there's something that's gonna happen that's going to pay off. But the problem is when you put something off and you put your life on hold and you press the pause button, in a way it is like falling down into the dark hole and burying yourself, okay? Some of you live at home too, which I feel like is an issue, okay? I feel like some of you need to move out from home, okay? The home situation is not good. I do want to say that, okay? Because that is the definition of digging a hole and burying yourself, okay? You're never going to get laid again if you live at home, okay? That's just how it is, okay? I'm telling you that now. But I feel like some of you, there's confusion here about what you're going to do next. And it's about making a good decision that is fair for everyone. And betters your situation. It's a hard choice. It's not something that you would want to do. But in a way, the finances will improve, and just by doing it will, in a way, prove to the universe that you have learned, that you've learned how to make a decision, learned how to make a hard choice, learned how to, in a way, great rewards that come from much sacrifice, right? This is, again, the month of May is about sacrifice. It's about loss in some way, dealing with the cleanup, dealing with the losses. How are you going to, you know, deal with that? So that, to me, that's also something going on here too. The other Magician card says, truths will be revealed. You will start on a new path. Your dreams can become a reality if you choose to make them so. To realize the potential in someone or something. This is to make big life changes. And it says big changes. It also says, this is a magic card. It says, magic is the strength of your will, the clarity of your vision, and your courage to follow through. And I get a tingle on that every single time I read it, because people don't understand that the power of their mind, the power of their intention, power of their focus, okay? So my challenge for you, Aries, is to focus less on the carrot or that thing that you're waiting on to come to fruition, and more on how you're going to make some changes that are going to improve your life. Okay, letting go of anything that is not working, letting go of anything that's come to an end. Okay, if something's come to an end, hanging on to it, and again, to me, there's a strong Scorpio vibe here too. Hanging on to it, similar to Scorpio, is not the way to go. If a pair of shoes is totally worn out, it has 5 million holes, and duct taped, okay, it's time to let them go. Say a little prayer. And throw them out, or give them to Goodwill. You know, I'm not so thorough when it comes to Goodwill donations, okay? Sometimes I give too generously, you know what I mean? I just throw everything in a bag, send it on its way. Let them deal with it, you know? So, you know, you need, I feel like you need to see how, if something is not working, then it's meant to, that's a sign from the universe that it's not meant to be, okay? And I want to read one last card. The outcome here is the Stuck in the Mud card, and it's different than what you're thinking. It's not what you're thinking, okay? It says, you're being invited to stop and savor the wonder of your life. It says, becoming stuck is sometimes the only way to trick yourself into slowing down and looking around you. In fact, this is a sign that you need to shift your focus away from what you're doing and place your attention elsewhere. Exactly what I'm saying. Struggling will only get you to even muddier places. Now is not the time to move forward, but to observe. Clarity about your circumstances will come at a later time. Stop and find the joy in what you've been overlooking. Soon you will be out of the mud, but for now, be still and know that Spirit has a plan for you. So you're going to get to a place, later on where you see everything more clearly. Right now, you're not going to be able to see it. And some of you you're like, I want to know how things are going to go if I make this decision. And, the lesson of Aries is to be fired up about something and do it. Okay? You do need to think it through. You do need to ask someone for help and get guidance. However, I feel like, to me, this card is about taking a pause to reflect and then moving forward. Understanding that any kind of pause or delay is meant to get you to think about things, get you to reflect, get you to see things maybe differently than the way you see it right now. It's hard for an Aries to stop because they have a little bit of ADD. So anytime you burn out or anytime you need to take a break, recognize that, validate that. It's important for you to not always be going and living by the seat of your pants. So know that I feel like things may slow down at a point, either later in May, early June, or later in June, or whenever you're watching this. But I feel like that's just sort of part of the process. I feel like there's going to be a lot going on for you. A lot of decision making, number one. Two, there's going to be some kind of reveal. This is finding out somebody's cheating or finding out something you didn't know. And there's going to be three, the challenge to know when to stop and pause and take a rest, and then know when to move forward. It's figuring out that stop go thing. You do, again, you have highs, lows, stops, goes. It's just kind of like a, you may take, and similar to the Capricorn, 3 steps forward, and then have to take 2 steps back and revise your plan, because I feel like there's something going on for you that has to do with moving forward in a healthy way. Not moving forward in the same way, or not moving forward in a reckless way, or not moving forward in a way that just serves you. You need to move forward where it creates a win-win situation for everybody involved. So yeah, that's all that I'm really getting. I feel like some of you, the last thing I want to say, some of you haven't figured out where your home is, or where home is, or where your place in the world is. And that is something that, in a way, it's almost like figuring out who you are. And it's a journey that no one can really tell you how to do. It's just something that you have to go through. As you guys all know, I moved many times and I've traveled many places, and it's taken me a really long time to figure out where home is. And so some of you are kind of going through that process, and you may travel more, you may need to travel more, you may not feel like what you're doing is it. You haven't reached that point, and there may be some frustration because they're like, well, I thought this was it, but I guess it's not, or I thought maybe, to me, it's a revision of your belief systems. Maybe you thought, a relationship was going to work and then it didn't, or you maybe thought a job was going to work out and then it doesn't. And so there's this revision of your plan, okay? Revision of who you are, revision of, who you are in the world. And you may have to keep revising several times until you get to a place where you're like, oh, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm on the right track for now, okay? And the thing is it's, again, there's a perfectionist in you that wants things to be perfect, that wants all the boxes to be ticked off. Check, 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 check. You have it all, and it's all complete, and it's all done. And life is an ongoing journey. So give yourself time to rest. Give yourself time to breathe, time to just pause, take a break if you need to. Give yourself the room to figure out who you are in the world. Give yourself the room to figure out, okay, well, this isn't working for me. I'm going to do something else. And it might not have anything to do with what, you thought you were going to do. Okay? So it's just one of those things that you have to go through. And I feel like it's a process, but I do feel like if you take the time to think about it, it will make more sense to you later. And also cut yourself some slack if things aren't working out the way you wanted them to, or if there's been some kind of failure, or if there's been some kind of dream that you had to give up. Because I feel like some of you, it's letting go of a dream. It's letting go of the ideal situation. Letting go. Like, so say you started your own restaurant and it's not working, and you're like, this sucks. In the beginning you thought it was going to work, and you have to revise. You have to say, well, what's my next plan? Maybe you put all of your life savings into that whole thing, and it's not working. And so it's very challenging at times to figure out what comes next. But I feel like you have to take small steps, and you do have to do the work to and open up your mind. Open up your mind to bigger, better things, and not get discouraged that maybe what you thought was the ideal situation, or you thought, was your dream, you've had to let go of. Some of you, again, it's letting go of a dream, of something that they've had for a long time. And, but know that when you let go of an old dream, you're going to find something else that's twice as fulfilling, or twice as good, and you're gonna get excited about it. And I feel like you need to find that excitement again, at this time. So I'm gonna leave you off there. Long video, I know. Thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, Google Plusing, and subscribing. I really appreciate it. I will be back again for June videos, so stay tuned for those. Those are my generals. And if you'd like a private reading, feel free to email me, elizabetholson31@gmail.com. I do have a website, oracledaphne.com, and you can check out my availability on there. You can't book a reading through my website, but you can check out my availability. And I do typically run behind with updating it, so definitely email me and let me know what your schedule is, where you're from, what time zone you're in. Those things are very helpful. So I'm going to send you big hugs, like I always do. Big hugs. Big kisses. And I will talk to you guys again soon. All right, take care. All the best. Bye.